today's topic of discussion is the ninth cranial nerve. Now, you might be wondering, how did we jump into ninth cranial nerve without finishing other nerves, other cranial nerves? I was just scrolling through that which all nerves are we going to discuss, which have some importance, especially in the HNF, in the sense like vagus. Vagus is going down in the thorax and abdomen. So it is not much relevant to you when it comes to HNF. And if you talk about optic nerve, oculomotor nerves, and the nerves which are specific to those organs, we have already discussed them. If we have discussed those organs, if not, then we will be discussing them when we will be talking about that respective organ. Like when we will be talking about eyeball, we will discuss about optic nerve, right? So why glossopharyngeal nerve? Okay, I will tell you. So out of the 4 or 5 important nerves which we are concerned about, which come into HNF, like the fifth cranial nerve, the seventh cranial nerve, because the third, fourth, and sixth we already discussed when we talked about the extraocular muscles. Pathway for those is very simple because they get originated, they have a single action. Like oculomotor goes and supplies only the extraocular muscles except the two which are supplied by fourth and sixth nerve. So they don't have a complex pathway, they don't have different nuclei. I mean, they got originated and they have a type of fibers, and then they supply to that part or that organ or that muscle, and the topic is over there. So they don't require a detailed explanation. Even if you go through them once, you will simply understand. So that is not a major topic of discussion. Conceptual points, especially with respect to trigeminal, which is one of the important. I mean, it also covers the pterygopalatine, the ganglion and other topics. So it takes a lot of time. So I thought even facial takes a lot of time. And eighth we will be discussing when we will be talking about auditory middle ear and auditory apparatus. That at that time we will be discussing about eighth. आता list मध्ये राहिलं 9, 10 we are not going to discuss. 11 spinal accessory, wherever the role is there, like it has some role in this along with cervical plexus, it is forming the insa cervicalis, you already know. The hypoglossal, sorry, not this spinal accessory, but wherever those nerves are having their role in that top and that respective topic we are discussing. So in this list, like 12th also we discussed superficially when we talked about the tongue muscles the last couple of 2 days. And now in this list we have these four important ones which need to be discussed in extensive detail because they have a lot of scope of and practical application. So out of these, this we will be discussing during middle year. So bache teen, that is fifth, seventh, and ninth. This glossopharyngeal is comparatively easier to understand, smaller to to put it before you as a discussion. So I thought we should start with the easier one. So that is why we are discussing ninth cranial nerve, that is the glossopharyngeal nerve. Now, one homework for you guys, glossopharyngeal nerve. Now, homework for you guys is that you need to find out this is a 12th standard question, yet we forget because we cannot recall it time to time. Which cranial nerves are extensively motor, which are extensively sensory, and which are they are mixed. This, if you can find out, you can list and update and add to your knowledge, then it will be easier for you during MCQ questions both in anatomy as well as physiology. So this is a homework for you guys. Now coming to the cranial nerve number 9 and to its discussion. Okay, so I will make a pictorial representation of what we are going to study, what is going to happen, what we are going to do. And then after that I will show you the diagram proper from the atlas and we will have a discussion on it. So if you see glossopharyngeal nerve, it is having certain actions. Okay, I will enumerate them so that you will get, each enumeration of the action or its function will click within your mind the respective part, the respective organ, the respective system, the respective function. Okay, now as you know, you might have studied in physiology in respiratory system that your carotid body in your CVS, I'm sorry, carotid body and carotid sinus, at the junction where common carotid artery divides here, right? So in anatomically, if you go in details, there's specification which is the body and which is the sinus. So I don't want to go into the details, but this cranial nerve is responsible for this. It has efferent fibers. It takes the message of the pressure change on the wall of this artery, which is having carotid body and sinus, and then it goes to the, as you know, yes, can anyone tell me? NTS, that is nucleus tractus solitarius, and nucleus ambiguus. And there, where there is a respiratory center, there is a cardiovascular center, all important centers, or you can say the which are related to the life and death. Those all crucial centers are present in the in the brainstem, and in that. If you, this is a part of neuroanatomy. I don't want to go in the detail of neuroanatomy. Right now, I am concerned about discussion of glossopharyngeal now with respect to HNF. We are not discussing neuroanatomy in detail in these lectures. why I am taking this neuroanatomy wala part for you guys, so that when we discuss the nerve, suppose we are discussing about facial nerve, we are talking about parotid gland, and in parotid gland there is a syndrome called as Fraze syndrome. Okay, we will discuss it today. So if there is a Fraze syndrome, I'm telling glossopharyngeal fibers come, facial nerve is there, and you damage them, and then because of, as a result of the same Fraze syndrome happen, and you will not understand anything. It will all go a bouncer for you. For that purpose only, whatever is needed in the HNF, we are discussing only that. We started with the orientation of HNF, with the neuroanatomy sometime back when we talked about anterior cranial fossa, middle cranial fossa, posterior cranial fossa. We talked about the skull bones only with the intention that it will aid us to understand what is HNF, and that is the only sole intention. We are not discussing neuroanatomy in detail. So if you, I will not go in the details of any of the points of neuroanatomy. Okay, this is not a class of neuroanatomy. It's just for HNF we are orienting ourselves with neuroanatomy. Okay, so I will continue now. So just one second, all this we will erase. So it gives efferent branches, the cranial nerve, and these efferent branches go to the nucleus tractus solitarius and nucleus ambiguous, and further system, you know what happens, CVS, how it is, how the heart rate, how the breathing rate, whatever, all those functions are carried out, right? Carotid body and carotid sinus are specific for what? This is a very important point. Okay, so your day to day, this is called as which reflex? Can anyone tell me? Can anyone tell me? Is it called as the baroreceptor reflex? Is it the baroreceptor reflex? Can anyone tell me? Am I right? Or you have all forgotten? I have heard that you have your term and exams. So baroreceptor reflex is also known as, come on, MCQ question. Who will tell me? Let me see what you have studied and what you are going to write in your exam. Baroreceptor reflex is also known as, come on, who will tell me? Come on, fast. Who is going to answer me? You're going to write your paper, it seems, and that to open book. So it is not at all difficult, isn't it? See, I did not revise them after my first year, to be very true. Still, I am recalling. I'm not saying that I'm brilliant, not at all. I'm a fool with respect to this because my memory is very weak. But the thing is, once we understand it, we will never forget it. It's not about memory, it's about understanding. Baroreceptor reflex, come on, what is it also known as? Can anyone tell me? I'm waiting for your answer to be very true. Yes? They did not ask us in the exam baroreceptor reflex. They asked us with the other name. And so everyone got confused. But we had studied, so we wrote it properly. It is also known as sino-aortic reflex. Do you know this? Sino-aortic reflex. Why sino-aortic reflex? एक तो साइनस से रिलेटेड है और एओर्टा में इसलिए. Why is it called as sino-aortic reflex? Also these branches, these efferent nerves, actually I'm going into details, but okay, these efferent nerves which go to nucleus ambiguous and nucleus tractus solitarius, these are called as buffer nerves. Why they are called so? This is your homework. Okay, this is your homework. So one of the actions we saw that carotid sinus and the carotid body, they are supplied by this ninth cranial nerve. One other function, as we have already studied when we discussed about tongue, when we discussed about the pharyngeal arches and structures deriving from them, right? Both in both the lectures, glossopharyngeal also supplies the posterior 1/3 of the tongue. Now you can recall it, right? Because you already know it. The posterior 1/3 of the tongue, if you see, it is taking care of both the sensations. This also we have discussed: general sensory as well as special sensory. If the tea is hot, you can sense it by general sensation. If there is no sugar in the tea, you can taste it by special sensory nerves of the cranial nerve number 9, that is glossopharyngeal. Now one more is, it also supplies the tonsils. Okay, it has tonsillar branch and also supplies the tonsils. So when you, if you have grown tonsils, that is, if there is infection, tonsil is a lymphoid, histologically it's a lymph tissue, lymphoid tissue. So what happens? You will have pain and all, and whatever you sense, that is all by this glossopharyngeal nerve, if I'm not wrong. And also that it also supplies one, see, this is sensory function, this is also sensory function, this is also sensory function. And so what is happening from that external organ, the nerve is going to the center or the brain. The branches of cranial nerve, they are going to the brain, that respective nuclei, right, in all the three functions. But in this, it is efferent, as I already told you, right? So these all are efferent or afferent? Efferent or afferent? Who is going to tell me? What do we understand by efferent? What do we understand by afferent? Is it efferent? यार मैं तुमको गलत सिखाऊंगा तो तुम गलत सीख लोगे क्या? ये तो इतना बेसिक है, तुमको मालूम चाहिए कि 12th स्टैंडर्ड में तुमने सीखा. व्हाट आर afferent nerves? What are efferent nerves? Afferent nerves है जो, हाँ, afferent is motor. Absolutely, Samruddhi is absolutely right. Afferent is motor. Efferent, efferent is motor action. And afferent is what? Afferent is what? Afferent is sensory. Now tell me which is afferent, which is afferent and which is efferent. अरे मैं थैंक यू ना मैं भर दूं, मैं लिख कर रखा हूं, मैं क्लास ले रही हूं. Just 1 second, I'm sorry for the disturbance. Wait. Afferent, efferent. It is damn simple, but it's damn confusing for everyone. Afferent, what it is going to do? From the periphery, it is taking to the central nervous system, right? Efferent, from central nervous system, it is bringing to the periphery. Now, tell me, which is sensory, which is motor? Come on. Afferent is sensory. Okay. And efferent is motor. This is the answer what I have received. Is it correct? Confirm. Other guys. Other guys? Yes, this is correct. What I will do, I'll put this in red, I'll put this in blue, because you're going to get these markings and we are going to see the diagram in the atlas, so that you will be, you will be able to get oriented with the diagram. Now, the actions which I've told you, that is supply to the tonsil, supply to the tongue, supply to the parotid gland. Parotid gland, you forget about it. Okay, and what parotid gland is a different story. We talked about carotid sinus and body. So what is happening? That is the sensation taken by the glossopharyngeal, in response to which action is happening. Okay, from periphery CNS, it is going to the nucleus tractus solitarius and nucleus ambiguous. From the same fibers are taking the motor, but these are the sensory fibers. And the other two, what we saw, tonsil and taste, right? You feel it and it comes to you, that is by motor. Understood this function? Okay, simple. This is about cranial nerve number 9. You can take a screenshot and save it. It's very simple flowchart. Okay, now if you see, 1 second. Okay, so we saw three functions. Okay, clear nahi ho raha, it's not getting cleared, but we will start it again. So you understood this. Okay, so we talked about the functions, and I told you that it is having one, it is giving one branch to the stylopharyngeus muscle. Stylopharyngeus. Now you understand, from styloid process to the pharyngeal wall, right? Pharynx. We already discussed our styloid apparatus. Now that is supplied by cranial nerve number 9. Okay. Okay. What is the action of the stylopharyngeus? Can anyone? From styloid process to the pharynx? Yes. See, origin is here, insertion is pharynx. So if it is going to get pulled, contracted, styloid process ऊपर है, pharynx नीचे है, क्या होगा? Pharynx ऐसा पीछे move. Okay, it will be pulled. That is the action. So these are the motor and sensory. And the parasympathetic action of the fibers or parasympathetic fibers of the glossopharyngeal is to parotid. It is to the parotid gland. Parotid gland is the salivary gland. Do you know the three salivary glands? I hope you know. Submandibular, parotid, and sublingual. These are the three pairs of salivary glands. Parotid gland is extensively important. Now we will see the pictorial diagram. Okay, I'll just see. It is when any cranial nerve is being asked, you have to write the origin, then you have to write its path. Okay, then fibers, and applied anatomy. Where efferent, afferent, all types of fibers and applied anatomy. So now we already saw the fibers, right? The sensory, motor, and parasympathetic. Rather than saying sensory motor, we will say efferent and afferent. Okay, and parasympathetic. Now we will see the origin and pathway, and then we will see the applied anatomy. So I'll show you the pictorial presentation. Okay. So from the inferior salivatory nucleus of the medulla oblongata. Actually, you know that suppose if this is the midbrain, okay, this is your pons, this is your medulla oblongata, and then spinal cord. So you learned that medulla oblongata is having what? It is having. Can anyone tell me what are these? Do you recall the diagram? Do you recall anyone? What are they called? Have you heard? Do you recall the word olive? Do you recall the word olive? What are olives? Yes, pyramids and olives. See, I will tell you. I will put this in green. The structures which I put in green, they are two, nothing but the pyramids of the medulla oblongata. We have already discussed the orientation of cranial nerve, so I hope you can recall it. And this blue color, what I'm showing, is the olive. These are the elevations on the medulla oblongata. I told you this is the midbrain, this is the pons, and this is the medulla oblongata. So the olive pyramids. Now I told you that we discussed that day. See, this is the pontomedullary junction. This is the pontomedullary. From where? From where 9, 10, 11, and 12 cranial nerves, they are getting originated. From medial to lateral, the sequence is, am I right? Am I right? Do these 9, 10, 11, 12 take origin from pontomedullary junction? It seems you are not revising whatever we have discussed. See, we have already discussed the cranial nerves orientation lecture. It is there online on YouTube also. You go and revise it once again. From pontomedullary junction, you have 5, 6, 7, 8 cranial nerves. And this I will put it in yellow. 9, 10, 11, 12. It is from the medulla oblongata itself. Understood? So one comes from behind the pyramids. The other three, they come from behind the olive. Okay. So the sequence is 9, 10, 11, 12. If you want to remember, it is very simple. From here, 9, 10, 11, and the 12th one comes from behind the pyramid, from here. Okay. Come means what? Inside this brain. Now, brainstem is also a part of CNS, right? It is having the brain matter. So there are nuclei, as you know, inside the brain, right? Gray matter, white matter, you already know. If you see the sections, you will understand. It was there in 12th standard also. So if, I mean, from the nuclei, the nerve is getting originated. So I was telling you, inferior salivatory nucleus and nucleus ambiguous. These are the two, out of which this is more, I mean, from there more fibers are there. Inferior salivatory nucleus, from that glossopharyngeal nerve is originating. Okay, and it is exiting this brainstem, this medulla oblongata, from where? Behind the olive. I told you this blue, what I've shown is olive. I told you the sequence from superior to inferior. The sequence is 9, 10, and 11 cranial nerve. Glossopharyngeal is 9. So it is coming from behind the olive and it is exiting the brainstem from this place. Understood? From this place. On both the sides. Okay, on both the sides. So you have one pair of glossopharyngeal nerves. Now, understood the origin? So there is an inferior salivatory nucleus. I will show you the diagram from the atlas, so you will have a better orientation. Okay, and then you are, I mean, this is your origin. Now pathway. Now origin, जो चीज ब्रेन में से निकलती है उसको cranial cavity को exit करना पड़ेगा. It has to exit the cranial cavity. Now from where is it going to exit the cranial cavity? So in the discussion, extensive discussion of 2.5 hours on orientation of cranial cavity, we have discussed. So do you recall from which foramen does the glossopharyngeal nerve exits the skull or the cranial cavity? Not skull, cranial cavity. Do you recall? Can any one of you tell me? Okay, you need to revise, not an issue. Correct. Absolutely correct. Jugular foramen. Very good. Keep it up. So it's the jugular foramen from where the glossopharyngeal nerve exits the cranial cavity. So I hope you have understood. Now from there, see, glossopharyngeal originated from inferior salivatory nuclei, as we have already seen. Inferior salivatory nuclei. From there, it travels. I mean, it exits from this point behind the olives on the superior aspect. From there, it is traveling towards which foramen? It is the jugular foramen. Then jugular foramen में से बाहर exit होने के बाद, it is going where all? It is going to the places where it is having some function, which we already discussed. That is, it will go to the tonsils, it will go to the tongue. It will go to the tongue, right? Then it will go to which place? Carotid body and carotid sinus, right? Then it will go, I mean, the fibers will be there, right? So these are the three, and the stylopharyngeus muscle, we cannot forget it. Stylopharyngeus muscle. It is the only muscle which is getting derived from the third pharyngeal arch. Third pharyngeal arch. If you see the derivations of the pharyngeal arches, you will recall that there can be a MCQ question. Which muscle of the pharyngeal, which is a derivation of pharyngeal arches, is supplied by glossopharyngeal nerve? Or as you already know, that third pharyngeal arch, the nerve of third pharyngeal arch is glossopharyngeal nerve. So simply you can remember like that also. Okay, both the ways you can remember. So now I will tell you, we talked about the origin, we talked about the sites where these fibers are going to be there. Now I will tell you the pathway. Very simple. See, so pathway in the sense, see, it is having two. One I already told, this sensory and motor. तो वो जिधर जिधर वो ऑर्गन है, जैसे टंग है या टॉन्सिल्स है उधर ऊपर, okay, Walrus ring mein, and then you will have these carotid sinus and body. They're going to be there, fibers. This is not a big deal. One more pathway, that is of the parasympathetic. It is a bit conceptual thing to understand. Parasympathetic nerve fibers, how are they doing? Okay, what happens is that wait, I will show it in a proper diagram. Just give me 1 second. Okay, just 1 second, please. See, this is your inferior salivatory nucleus. इधर से फाइबर सेंसरी और मोटर एक्शन के लिए चले गए. फिर what is happening? They are also going to for the parasympathetic. Now how? Now you know that sympathetic and parasympathetic fibers, if there is, it is that is that they are having preganglionic and postganglionic fibers. Yes or no? Preganglionic and postganglionic fibers. You know that sympathetic and parasympathetic system has pre and post. In that also you might recall that parasympathetic, in that the preganglionic fibers are very much long. Yes, postganglionic are very much short, and this is vice versa in sympathetic. If you can recall, we studied this in 12th standard. Why? Suppose vagus is going and in the heart, so preganglionic fiber of the vagus and the ganglion, and then the postganglionic. So this is almost, this ganglion is there almost near the organ. If I'm not wrong, this is the concept. So here this is also parasympathetic. So parasympathetic का क्या रहेगा? Preganglionic fiber will be long, post will be short. Now we will see how preganglionic is forming, how postganglionic is forming. Okay. Now what is happening, I will tell you. So this preganglionic fiber is going to the tympanic plexus in the middle ear. Okay, tympanic plexus. From the name only you can understand tympanic is related to ear. It is actually the middle ear. The middle ear is having the tympanic. As you know, the ear is divided into inner ear, middle ear and outer ear, right? So in the middle ear, it is the tympanic plexus. So from there, this tympanic plexus, what happens? Preganglionic fibers of glossopharyngeal in the form of lesser petrosal nerve. Do you recall this lesser petrosal nerve? I hope greater petrosal and lesser petrosal. We discussed this nerve. We named these nerves when we were talking about the structures which are exiting the cranial cavity. So there's a greater petrosal, foramen for the greater petrosal nerve, foramen for the lesser petrosal nerve, right? So these are the preganglionic fibers, okay, of the cranial nerve number 9, which are coming out of the tympanic plexus in the form of which nerve? It is the lesser petrosal nerve. Now these lesser petrosal foramen, now you know lesser petrosal, you will say that day also we discussed, there's a foramen for nerve of lesser petrosal, and in the discussion of foramen ovale, you know what are the structures exiting? Its mnemonic is male. In this male, L stands for lesser petrosal nerve. So there could be variability, there could be a branch, but this is confirmed that it exits from which foramen? It is the foramen ovale. Okay, foramen ovale, do you recall where it is? Should I draw the diagram? Just 1 second. See, this is your cranial cavity. So this is your anterior fossa, and here is your upper lesser wing of sphenoid, niche greater wing of sphenoid, either superior orbital fissure, and here you have the three foramen: foramen ovale, foramen rotundum, foramen spinosum. The sequence is anterior to posterior. The sequence is foramen rotundum, then ovale, and then spinosum. Ross, I believe I am not wrong. So this is the sequence. So from foramen ovale, from here, foramen ovale, what is exiting? Lesser petrosal nerve. Now this is 9th, no? So from here, from the foramen magnum, your medulla oblongata is exiting. Medulla oblongata ke upper half se you are getting this nuclei, that is inferior salivatory nuclei. From there, it is coming as glossopharyngeal, going to the tympanic plexus, middle ear idhar rahega tumhara, right, on the periphery, inside the skull, right? So middle ear, from there tympanic plexus, and from this tympanic plexus, it's going to where? Exiting through the foramen ovale as what? As lesser petrosal nerve. Are you able to correlate this? I hope the discussion of cranial cavity was extensively useful to you to understand this background. And that is why is the reason I decided that we should do initial orientation of the neuroanatomy. Now foramen ovale में से बाहर आने के बाद, lesser petrosal, I will erase all this because we need to write the pathway, right? Foramen ovale, okay, just 1 second. So it is coming, lesser petrosal nerve is coming outside from the foramen ovale, and from foramen ovale, so rest of the fibers of the glossopharyngeal nerve are coming from jugular foramen, as answered by one of your batchmates. And foramen ovale में से क्या है? Lesser petrosal nerve from tympanic plexus, which is the preganglionic fiber of the cranial nerve. Okay, that is cranial nerve number 9. Then what is happening? These fibers go to otic ganglion. Otic ganglion is a separate topic, we will discuss in detail. This otic ganglion is the main ganglion over here. This is the ganglion. अभी ये ganglion के आगे से क्या हो जाएगा? Post ganglionic fibers निकलेंगे. These post ganglionic fibers travel in the form of auriculotemporal nerve. Now you will say auriculotemporal nerve. You don't know about mandibular nerve, we have not discussed. Actually, we should go in sequence. First, trigeminal nerve. Mandibular nerve is a branch of trigeminal nerve. So if you would have discussed trigeminal nerve, then you would have known what is auriculotemporal nerve. Auriculotemporal nerve is a branch of the mandibular nerve, that is third branch of trigeminal nerve. Now auriculotemporal nerve, you will say ये mandibular nerve के अंदर how are the fibers of glossopharyngeal traveling, right? This glossopharyngeal, how are they traveling? You will ask this question. The simple answer to this question is that nerve, see in the ganglion there is a lot of, I mean the fibers are coming from mandibular also and from lesser petrosal nerve also. So this output is auriculotemporal nerve. It means what? The topography, that is the structure, is of these fibers, but inside the functional role is of the ninth cranial nerve. Functional fibers, see this auriculotemporal carries the functional fibers of ninth cranial. Means what? Functional fibers of this. See, this is what parasympathetic. Parasympathetic is in response to the body, right? Parasympathetic. Now, if parasympathetic will increase secretion. Now, this nerve is going to parotid gland, auriculotemporal, as you know, as I've already told you in the beginning, that it is going to supply to the parotid gland. How to the parotid gland? This is the scene. Okay. Auriculotemporal nerve is a branch of mandibular nerve. Okay, right? But the stimulus to it is given through this ganglion by the preganglionic fibers, by which now? That is the cranial nerve number 9, that is glossopharyngeal. Now I erase all this and I will explain to you in one simple line. See, this is your inferior superior to salivatory nuclei. I will just talk about parasympathetic. Okay, याच्यामधून fibers गेले tympanic plexus कडे. Okay, tympanic plexus कडून, just 1 second, let me see how much time. 1 second. Okay, it's going to finish fast. Tympanic plexus. From tympanic plexus, they will go through lesser petrosal. Okay, lesser petrosal. From lesser petrosal, they are passing out to foramen ovale. They are going to otic ganglion, and from otic ganglion fibers of auriculotemporal are going and supplying the parotid gland. आलं का लक्षात? हे preganglionic fibers and this auriculotemporal is postganglionic fibers. Simple. So this diagram is from the atlas. Okay, if you see, but I'll show you the upper half so that you yourself can see the labelings. Okay. 1 second. Now see, I will use red color, yellow color. I will explain to you the diagram. See, this is posterior. This is posterior. This is anterior. Now this is the brainstem, right? Brainstem. And in this brainstem, this is the pons, and this is the medulla oblongata. Now I will erase this. Okay. Just 1 second, please give me 1 second. Hello. Yeah. So this is the brainstem. I told you the pons and medulla. Now, as you see this is the pontomedullary junction. And in the upper half, I told you, if this is the pons, if this is the medulla oblongata, these are the pyramids, uske baaju mein olives, and from behind the olive, first, second, third, that is 9th, 10th, and 11th cranial nerves are getting origin, right? So you see the upper half of this, right? This is the part where these nerves are getting origin. This glossopharyngeal is getting origin. Now, if you see already it is here, that is why I asked you. Red color fibers, if you are seeing, that is the efferent. Blue, what you are seeing is blue fibers are afferent, and the dotted one that is here, I will zoom it. Wait. Now you will be seeing it better, right? See this, blue fibers are afferent, red fibers are efferent, and dotted is parasympathetic. Now first, it's easy to understand. I will clear this. Okay, it is easy to understand that fibers are coming. This red, if you can see the red fibers, I will use blue color. I'll use black color. These red fibers, they're coming, they're going here. So this is the stylopharyngeus muscle from styloid apparatus to the pharynx. Wait, now see it properly. This is the styloid apparatus. This is the stylopharyngeus muscle. This is your pharynx, right? हे तोंडातून असं तुम्ही आत पाहिलं तर तुम्हाला pharynx चा back side दिसेल. Now this is supplying to stylopharyngeus 1. Okay. Second, it is supplying to what? Can you see this tonsil? 1 second. Can you see this tonsil? So these blue fibers are coming to the tonsils. Blue fibers means what? See, from the tongue, these blue fibers. Blue fibers means what? It is giving you taste sensation. So blue fibers means what? Afferent. So we discussed it a bit wrong, that when it comes to taste sensation, sensations is sensory is afferent. So these fibers are taking the taste sensations to the respective center, and then you understand this is sweet, this tonsil is paining, like that. Same for this carotid, either niche. Shall I show you? Wait 1 second. See this, if you see this carotid, this is the carotid body and the sinus, and from there blue fibers are going to the nucleus. This nuclei, which nuclei is it? As I told you, it's the nucleus ambiguous and nucleus tractus solitarius. See, it's labeled here. I'll show it to you. This is nucleus ambiguous and this is nucleus tractus solitarius. You can trace the labeling. And the red one which I'm showing, inferior salivary nuclei, this is the origin. See here. I'm sorry, thoda sa upar. This is the origin, right? Inferior salivary nuclei from where, and this nucleus ambiguous. Can you see these two red which are giving origin to the glossopharyngeal nerve? So when you see the cross section of the different sections of the brainstem, you understand from which nucleus which nerve is getting origin, which nuclei is positioned in which direction, or whether it is centrally located, whether it is peripherally located in the system, like this or like this, whatever. So this is about the origin. We saw the sensory and motor supply. Motor is to the red color, that is to the muscle, right? This is red. I will show it in green marker. See, this red is coming here. Can you see this? So giving the muscle. This is the motor. This is motor. And about sensory, I will put it in red color. See, blue. Can you see this marking? This blue going to the tonsil, going to the tongue, going to the carotid sinus. So this is what sensory. Okay, sensory. Now bacha on parasympathetic. Now if you see the parasympathetic, if you see the, okay, one more is this blue color is also going to this eustachian tube, that is the pharyngeal opening inside the mouth from the ear, auditory tube. Okay, so this is also action is also motor action is also sorry, sensory sensation is taken from the branch of glossopharyngeal. Okay, pharyngeal branch. Now seeing the parasympathetic action. Okay, if you see this parasympathetic action, just 1 second. Okay, see this. Now fibers from, see, this is the superior nucleus and this is the inferior nucleus. Superior nucleus and inferior nucleus of glossopharyngeal. Okay, glossopharyngeal now. Now if you see the fibers from this are going to which, this is the carotico-tympanic nerves. Is that here is the, this is the tympanic plexus. Okay, this is your tympanic plexus. This is your tympanic plexus. Now from this tympanic plexus, they are going as lesser petrosal nerve. Can you see this? Can you appreciate? Just 1 second. This one, lesser petrosal nerve. Can you appreciate this? This is lesser petrosal nerve. Then from lesser petrosal nerve, they are going into what? They're going into the otic ganglion. From this otic ganglion, see, this is the uske piche mandibular nerve. So otic ganglion, structurally it lies on the mandibular nerve. That is the third branch of cranial nerve number 5. And from this otic ganglion, branch is coming out, that is the auriculotemporal. Now when we will be talking about the mandibular nerve, I will tell you in detail at the time the significance of auriculotemporal nerve, and you can see this same to same diagram or same to same presentation in the dissection. I remember we had taken photographs. I will share it to you if I find you. Can you see this? This like this, it forms a triangular structure, this auriculotemporal nerve. Can you see this? Wait, I will zoom it for you. Can you see this triangular formation? See this triangular formation and this auriculotemporal. ये दो जगह से origin होता है. Mandibular nerve is the main nerve from which auriculotemporal nerve is getting origin, and it goes. The auriculotemporal has many functions, out of which one branch goes to parotid gland of the auriculotemporal nerve. And this otic ganglion, it lies on the mandibular gland structurally. म्हणजे otic ganglion वेगळा आहे, mandibular nerve वेगळा आहे. Mandibular nerve चा ganglion otic ganglion नाही, but it lies. हे असं सपोज एक पाईप आहे, त्याच्यावरती तुम्ही एक दगड जाऊन ठेवले, लाईक दॅट इट इज. सो मॅन्डिब्युलर नर्व आणि त्याच्यावरती ओटिक गँग्लियॉन, पण मॅन्डिब्युलर नर्वचे फायबर्स, that is from the auriculotemporal, from this otic ganglion, these fibers. I will clear. See now, can you see functional role, structural role, sorry. See, this is the mandibular nerve, right? Auriculotemporal is a branch of mandibular nerve, but fibers from the otic ganglion which are coming from lesser petrosal nerve, that is the glossopharyngeal nerve, preganglionic fibers, they are continuing in this. Yes, can anyone दिसते ना इथे ऑर्क्युलोटेम्पोरल नर्व, म्हणजे फंक्शन कोणाचं आहे? फंक्शन क्रेनियल नर्व नंबर 9 चा आहे. फंक्शनल फायबर्स पण त्याचे, पण ऑरिक्युलोटेम्पोरल नर्वच्या स्ट्रक्चर मध्ये, विच इज अ ब्रांच ऑफ मॅन्डिब्युलर नर्व, दॅट इज फिफ्थ क्रेनियल नर्व इन रिटर्न. In that structure you have fibers of post ganglionic fibers of glossopharyngeal. Understood? Structure auriculotemporal nerve आणि फायबर त्याच्या आत ऑरिक्युलोटेम्पोरल नर्वच्या फायबर्स सोबत कोणाचे फायबर्स आहेत? दे आर द फायबर्स ऑफ द 9th cranial nerve. Structural role or topographic role, I repeat again, structural or topographic it is called. Topographic role is of cranial nerve number 5, but functional role is of cranial nerve number 9. Understood? This is the complete story. I hope you have understood. In case of any queries, you can always ask me. uh, I told you one wrong concept in the beginning. I rectified it in later, that from the tonsil, from the tongue, sensory fibers of cranial nerve number 9 travel, not motor. Okay, I have rectified myself. So thank you. If you have any doubt, you can ask me.